csbet.gg guarantees to show the actual drop rate with precision to the hundreds. Find the best skins only in cases at csbet.gg.
Cool, right? Want to know where I got it? Well, look, go to cs.money. It's a trade platform and a marketplace at the same time. Just choose, click, and get. Good luck, bro.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's time. It's GG.BET Invitational. It's the best of threes. And it's the second map of our first best of three of the day. My name is Dinko. I'm going to be joined by Mitch Man throughout the rest of today. And probably the rest of the tournament. I think we're going to have you back. Unless you do an awful job, Mitch. Oh. There we go. You're on the right audio track now. You're on a different one.
Damn it.
You can repeat what you had to say, Mitch.
Well, I'll change it. You know what? Apparently, it's not me doing an awful job. That's all I'll say. I jest. So, coming into things, look, I'll talk a little bit about Train. devils.one, taking on forZe Sports. They faced each other here before, and it's no surprise. It was Beniz and Z-Power, as you say. I always thought it was XS Z-Power, but we can fight about that later. That really took the flowers. I forget the name of a bundle of flowers that you get at a wedding or whatever.
A bunch,
but,
a bouquet.
Bouquet, that's the one. They took the bouquet in the first prize for kills on both of their teams. Looking pretty good when they took the AWPs out, but now as we look towards the pistol round, this is going to be a much more close range affair.
Yeah, straight onto the bomb sites kills for both teams, but most of them are going in favor of forZe and making all of them as almazr gets himself a quad kill. Excellent stuff there from him, and forZe picking up the pistol. almazr was actually a player performing very well on that first map.
Yeah, indeed. He did it with an AWP, with a P250. It didn't bloody matter. He just killed everybody. As we come into the second round, it's sure to be a bloody affair, as forZe Sports take themselves out. There we go, eventually. Take themselves out a buy with 3 SMGs in play. Not a buy that I'm a fan of. They're up against devils.one's bit of a forest. They've got pistols, an SMG alongside a scout. Now, there's a lot of damage dealing potential there, especially on Train, which has so many long-range sightlines that Roland can take advantage of with that scout in play. But perhaps he won't get an opportunity as forZe begin to stack up towards the B bomb site early on, where a little bit of aggression has come through. You can see Beniz, holding up in the corner there, attempting to catch them off with a 5-7. He spots out the info, drops the smoke, and he's just going to back off. This gives time for the rotations to begin and for Roland to maybe post himself into a more useful angle. A little bit late going for the spams towards the towards upper on top of ladder and pop dog. And forZe aren't committing. Interestingly, leaving the bomb solo towards B, considering there are pistols in play. I'm very surprised to see that. The odds of a pistol push coming through are pretty likely at this point, to be honest. And Jerry would have to find that killer. The bomb would swing over into the counter-terrorist control and things would get very scary. But instead, they're holding on for a push, attempting to catch off devils.one, but that doesn't seem to be possible, as Devils are playing this very, very safe.
Yeah. devils.one. Just sitting back, passively waiting for forZe to come towards them. And that's where they hope they can find the kills. And it's exactly where they'll find the kills. Mars with 2, Dhow with 1. And it's almazr and Z-Par on their own. A 2v5, 4 HP on Z-Par with the MAC-10. He's going to cross on over. He's going to try and get back to safety. But at this point, devils.one look to have upset forZe. And I think it's pretty safe to say it's happened now, Mitch. Oh god, I keep doing it. Alex is in my head all the time.
I can't stop thinking about him either. I forgive you. Yeah, look again. Time proves to be the enemy of forZe. It's certainly something we saw over Mirage. We're starting to see it here again as the second round goes to Devils. They're able to get rifles out now. And it becomes a much different beast to tame for this T side. Going in for somewhat of a similar buy. SMGs, pistols, and a scout. Trying again, take advantage of those long-range angles. As to whether or not that's going to be possible, I feel like a lot of the time that scout pistol buy is a lot easier to work with on the CT side than the T. Trying to enter and get those points of damage done with the scout. Generally, you're not able to maneuver around the bomb sites quite as easily as you would be if you were a CT. Because you have to expose yourself to a lot of angles as you go out for peaks. Already fight coming in over towards the B bomb site. Little bits of damage being done up the ramp. And of course, with the heavier rifles in play, you know, over there it's a Galil and an AUG holding down. Well, just an AUG for now. As Taz tries to get the work done, finds 2 kills very quickly indeed. Mauzino with another onto Almazar. XSC Power doesn't find that kill as he was falling down. I thought he did. That would have been nuts. But it's, you know, very minimal impact from forZe considering the force buy. And now that they're left over with 2K and the majority of players, devils.one certainly looking favored early on train, which is what they needed, really. Like, the last time these guys played, like I said, it was a 16-14 victory for devils.one. But the other side of the coin here is that this time they're already 1 map down, and forZe have certainly shown their confidence over on Mirage. So we're looking to see a bit more from Devils to build up confidence early on and make sure they don't get any of that negativity or the negative mindset that can often come into play when you're a map down and you start to lose the second map.
Well, there is the unrelenting spam through the wall from Deha. Generally, when you see a window break up there, you can just spam one in and you'll do a little bit of damage most of the time. Luckily, forZe avoid most of it, and so can cross over towards B relatively unscathed, but I feel like their fates are about to become much worse, Mitch, as they decide that they want to go in towards the B bomb site. Currently sitting there is Taz. They're hungry for these eco frags. There's Manise. Headshot comes in as well. Mazinho wants a piece of the puzzle as well. There's all the kills coming through. Zepar on his own into the 1 versus 4. And it's just the Glock. He has got a kill. But not much more than that probably, as he runs away past the locker rooms and down towards the spawn.
It's hard to find positives in rounds like this. You know, you're just looking for a bomb plant. Realistically, a kill on the board at least is something to work with. But with the Glock 1 versus 4, both bomb sites now secure for the CTs, it's impossible really to get that bomb down, unless you are expecting major misplays from Devils. With 3-1 on the scoreboard, it's already a strong start in the CT side, but you got to remember, you just don't want to allow those Ts to get a start. Once they get a foothold on their economy and start to clock up rounds, things get very scary very fast. Train's a map that if you let the Ts build up momentum and get some rounds on the board early, things can look very bad for you, because it's quite easy to then swap over and be completely shut. You know, CT side, winning a lot of rounds doesn't really give you a free pass. Because it's not an easy map to play from the T side.
No, it definitely isn't. I feel like Train's one of the hardest T sides in the game right now, so it's really solid if you can get a good start on it. That's Deha tossing the Molotov up towards the top of the ladder. Doesn't quite go that far, but it will make sure that no one is there. And the rest of forZe looking to go in towards the inner bomb site. Currently 3 players sitting here on the CT side, and what a lineup coming through. Taz, Mazinho and Manise find them all 3 kills. It's on Flit and Zepar in a 2v5. It's probably not going to happen at this point. He'll be all the way up towards Braun Halls. That's a pick from Manise. And it's all on Zepar. 1 versus 5. We know he's a good player, but probably not this good, as it might be beyond his skill set.
I think it's fair to say it's beyond the majority of players' skill set to pick up a 1v5 with just an AWP when they've got the bomb.
Yeah.
So it's very rare. I mean,
apart from me, of course, Mitch. I do this all the time.
Dingo, I would not doubt that for a minute. We played ESEA Open last season, and I gotta say, it was just joyful. I learned so much from watching yourself, and especially Hawker play.
Oh, Scriv was our best player.
That's all I can say to that. I love you, Scriv. When you see this, I love you. But I don't like playing CS with you. 4-1. Devils won. There's no dot in the middle. There is, but you don't say it, apparently. There's a bit of a lead building up for them. forZe, they buy them pretty low here, especially considering they don't take a lot of utility. So just a 1 smoke in play. Looks like it's an angle towards B from that buy alone. You can see them early on taking upper control, moving in through the bathrooms and Z power. Definitely going to be committing this smoke towards lower, I would imagine. He's coming in pretty slowly. They've not spotted any presence towards upper. And without any aggression, it kind of robs them of information. They'll probably suspect bomb site and connector hold. It's pretty standard for the CTs. And the execute not yet to come down. They're taking a long time. And you know, in a situation like this, I feel like your best chance is just to blitz down straight away. By the time that you eventually push, I mean, you're not really going to see devils.one rather, pushing at any point. They know they're up against a weak buy. Taz posted up on a headshot angle, able to find 2. The bomb plant will go down though. Yeah, by the looks of it, and Almazar able to find 1 Deagle in play. No second to be connected, and Z power being so low should be done and dusted very quickly. But forZe come out of that round with exactly what they wanted. They managed to find a bomb plant and 1 kill as well, but it does very little for you, 1 kill, considering the economy in play for the CT side right now.
Well, this is where things on paper should get a bit more interesting, right? We got a buy coming in from devils.one. It's the double up setup in the hands of D-Ham and East. Over on forwards, it's the buy again for them. Utility across the board. AWP in the hands of Z-Pot. I want to see something happen here. It's been very much them getting locked out of the map. Again, this is the pick of devils.one, and they are going to be very good on this map. I feel like you casted a lot of ESL Poland, right? So, and how many times was Train played in this game?
Dude, there was a my god, there was a game where it was 2 best-of-2s in a row, and both of them were with Team Kingwin at the time. The second map of the first series and the first map of the second series were both Train. Each of them went to an overtime and was nearly 2 hours long. It was insanity. I think there was something like 56 or 58 rounds in a row of Kingwin at the time on Train. It was incredible. They love this map.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the Polish do though. Like a lot of the Polish teams are pretty good on this map. Although we did see Virtus.pro somewhat struggle on it yesterday, but they do want to go towards it. I mean, they played it twice in this tournament, ended up losing it twice, but it's not exactly the point. Gonna be a push in towards the site. D-Ham finds Z-Pod. Taz able to grab himself this crack. Now Mazer's doing his best. It's alongside Jerry, who'll pull it back into the 3v3. Although D-Ham will burn alive Flit. Mazer gets the trade again, and it's back and forth. This time, I think devils.one have to realize they have to take a breath and wait for this retake. Marzinho coming in on the flank for the ramp. Player already crossed behind the smoke. The bomb is ticking. As Benice looks to try and get back into the bomb site, he'll look up over the terrain. Wait for a person to walk right into his crosser, but Benice, that scope has given away his position. They know where he is towards the connector. He's going to turn around, still finds the kill on Almazer somehow. And Jerry into the 1 versus 2. It's a headshot from Jerry. Benice is finished off, and Jerry gets the second. It's a good play from him, and a great clutch in the end.
Indeed, denies the defuse, and now on 2 rounds for forZe, they're looking a little bit better. It's all about just grinding out as many as you can early on. One of the things you said there earlier, Dinko, a lot of the Polish teams do like to play Train, and I completely agree with that. You said although they lost it a couple times. I mean, just because you like something doesn't mean you're good at it, right? Although I think for the most part,
exactly,
it is a very strong map within the Polish scene. The funny thing for us though, when we did ESL Polska, was that so frequently you would see that like every team was comfortable on it. So teams that you'd expect to pick it would sometimes stray away from it just because they knew, well, everybody knows how we play Train. Sort of the cash of Poland in a way. So no, in Ireland, I mean, you can attest to it as well, Dinko. Almost every LAN. Oh yeah, wasn't it the raid LANs where it was like 95% of the maps played were cash?
Yeah, but a recent one, it didn't get played. But yeah, like you said, it's very region dependent on maps. I think North America was a region, like 2016, 2017, it did lean towards cash as probably their map they wanted to play the most. And so yeah, maps are very region dependent. We see a lot of Dust 2 in the CIS region. I think that's a good example to use. But definitely in Poland, Train is definitely a map that has been traditionally played by the Polish teams. And so you look at VP, Train was one of their best maps. You look at AGO, that was their best map. And so definitely the Polish teams love a bit of Train, and they want some more action as well here. forZe look to try and get themselves out on towards the A bomb site. But devils.one got currently 2 players down, a big flank coming in as well. It's a kill coming through from Marzinho. It's stripped back by Jerry, but the push keeps coming through. It's from Relentless 4 here for forZe as they keep walking forward. It's D-Hat onto face crack. Now Mazer trades back once more. He's been very good at keeping it within touching distance.
It's still going to be a very difficult one for... Well, it could have been. With Jerry on 7 HP now. It's an easy sweep up for Devils. They won't even have to take the fight at this point. Jerry just backing out of there with the AK-47, looking to save it over for the next round. He should be able to get away with that. Indeed he is, but... And the good thing as well, I suppose, $1,900 on the board. It's not the worst, because, of course, they take an eco here. The next round, Jerry's still going to be able to buy up. The loss bonus isn't, you know, full reset at this point, so they still have decent money coming in as well. So things are just fine for them at this point. Over on the devils.one side, though, they are starting to take a bit of a hit to their economy. That's for sure. You know, there were some rounds they were ending with like 12k on some of the players. Now it's starting to look down around the kind of 4k average per player overall. Which puts them in a bit of compromised position if they lose a couple of rounds. Obviously no loss bonus to fall back on. But this one shouldn't really be too much of a problem. forZe coming in with a scout and an AK, very little armor, very little utility. Actually no utility at this stage of the round. And a couple of pistols to play with as well. And angling to try and find any aggression from Devils. Again, playing it very slowly, but...
Oh. Well, that's not good. Every single player on the T side falling very quickly. Facecrack is the last man alive on his own in the world here for forZe. And devils.one. They look like a far different team here on train in comparison to Mirage. They look way better, way more in control. And I think that's the good part about a best of 3. We get to see the teams at their very best. And that's where things show which team is actually the better team. You know, you get onto a series, it's like, okay, this is our special map. This is our specialty. We like this map. Okay, they win that one. We move on to the second. It's the other team's specialty. And for me, if they win both of them, you know, if it goes split 1-1, the third map is always interesting because you've had a close affair, and the third map is a map that both teams will be willing to play, but it probably won't be one of the maps that are, you know, in their top tier rounds. So you always get an interesting matchup if they split up. And currently it's looking like it's going that way. It's a great start for devils.one. Although forZe, they've got to buy into this one, Mitch, and if they want to change this half, they've got to do it pretty soon.
Yeah, look, we said it can be hard to get things started on the T side, but so we do give teams a lot of leeway. But as time goes on, and we're now, you know, coming into the 10th round, this is where we need to see forZe clocking up the rounds. We're looking for about 5 on them to feel good, and feel decent about how things have gone. Starting it off well with 1, but the trades go in almost instantaneously, and it continues on in that fashion. Devils behind by 1. Find themselves in an awkward rotation towards the A-bomb site. Nozino was completely isolated and dies that way. Taz and Mani's going to try and stick together. The AWP looking for an entry towards the bomb site. The bomb hasn't yet crossed.
Oh.
He doesn't catch it as it does, though.
Yeah, that's a great opportunity there, missed from Mani's. He will get the kill nonetheless, but already success from forZe. The first time we've kind of seen them win a convincing round there. They keep 3 players alive, they only lose the 2. And one of those players that they lost, you know, was a pretty useless kill from Mani's. You know, he gets 1, he sacrifices himself for the frag, ends up falling straight after. So forZe, not really too much they could have done about that. So perfect stuff from them. They'll be happy about finally winning another round. And this is where devils.one have to show what they're made of, because at this point, even after all that success, they are in a position where they could end up very easily losing. Rallen and Mani's haven't actually picked up kits, even though they've got $4,350.
Yeah, look, it was efficiency. I think the thing for forZe, the only time they lost a player, it was a trade straight away. Almazar again opens up the first round, or opens up the first kill rather for his team. Without the trades going through this time, Devils behind by 1 early on. Have to make something work. On the CT side now, they've got a big gap. It's over towards Ivy, so the rotation begins. It's Rollin starting to move over there to hold down for his team. And at this point, I mean, we've seen certainly a lot of impact from the AWP players, both still up, but in the past on this map, Mani's and Z-Power were the ones kind of contesting for a lot of these rounds. So far, it hasn't played too big of a role, but with the op now in the hands of that T-side, Z-Power, I do expect to see quite a bit from them as they angle towards an A push. But the looks of things, sitting towards the top of Pop Dog. In Team A, the bomb is starting to walk. And of course, you've got Z-Power throwing over some utility as well. So the execute to come through. Devils completely locked out at this point. They've got no players that can really do anything except for spam through the smoke and pray. The spray and pray not quite going to work for them. As the bomb plank goes down, Roland falls. And this should just be a save from Devils at this point with all 3 players towards the B bomb side. And the economy not looking fantastic. They could certainly do with carrying 3 rifles forward.
Yeah, carrying those weapons over, especially the AWP, is definitely the best outcome at this point. forZe have found a bit of a foothold into the first half. I said they needed to do it now, Mitch, and they seem to have listened, which is pretty good. They are standing a chance in this first half now. devils.one starting to see that economy dwindle, because there have been a couple of close runs. Even the ones that forZe lost, they did do some damage. And because of that, we're starting to see the effects of it. Really in a position to hunt at this point, but now they are, because they've got 6k on most of the players left over in reserve. Obviously, with purchasing a little bit of utility, that'll drop slightly. But devils.one, their money is still at a level where they can get a buy-in, but this really is their last stand purchase. Even if forZe end up losing this one, they'll still get a buy-in to the next. And so devils.one, the pressure is on their shoulders in round number 12. They might end up losing this convincing lead they had.
That's not a nice position to be in, 1 map down as well. The disadvantage that brings with it. As the smokes... sorry, the flashbang's going over towards the top of B. Mazzino gets slid down so low. Luckily avoids death. Only the legs caught. But you're looking towards forZe. They're playing a much more structured T-side than what we've seen from them before now. Definitely taking it a lot slower than some of their successful rounds of Mirage. But it is working out for them with the opening kills. They don't find one early on here, which has been kind of a staple of the last 2 rounds they've won. But they're certainly going to look for more. Look for it again right here. But no peeks. They're not taking Ivy control this time. It is a very, very slow affair. But they do seem to want to commit towards the same bomb site. They're taking control of Pop Dog. Even with the smokes down, this is going to be difficult to really keep these T's contained.
Well, Mazzino and Taz are definitely doing so as they get themselves 3 kills between them, but Mazzino kills himself. It's all on Z-Power with 4 HP. He's followed by Rallen as well. Good hold there from devils.one.
That's a really important round for Devils as well. I mean, being able to close that out now 8-4. forZe still in with a full buy, but at least they're guaranteeing themselves a little bit more economy. If they don't lose too many players, so reinvestment into the next round is a possibility. But forZe still having the chance to close this out. 6 rounds certainly within the realms of possibility for them. And with the pause coming out, they're definitely angling towards the 6 or 7. A full buy to come through. They're taking the time to concentrate, refocus themselves, and make sure they come into this round with fresh minds. Devils, though, they've got a lot of ranged weapons. That's the thing, right? On a map like Train, coming in with these AUGs, it certainly swings things even further into the CT favor than what we had seen before. Never mind even the AUGs, of course, the AWP in the hands of Maniz will cause quite a lot of problems. D is the only player that doesn't want to touch any scopes. He's happy on the M4. Well, 4 is even a Curry coming out. I'd love to see that. Jerry with it. D-Hud takes 1. But sadly, the trade goes through straight away, and that puts forZe at the forefront of this round.
Well, bomb sitting outside Ivy. At this point, forZe are just looking to try and get an extensive kill. They want to get that advantage back to make it slightly easier for them to make their final approach. The devils.one have 3 players on the A bomb side. 1 over towards the B. Start to make their way back away. There's Almiz, they're finding Rallen. Advantage in favor of forZe. That's the kill that they wanted. Another push comes through. Maniz looks to try and trade, and actually if he had just walked around the corner further, he would have found it, but that's face crack. On to the kill again. It's a 2-man advantage for the Russian side, and with 55 seconds left, still plenty of time for them to make this coordinated push into either the B or the A bomb site. And currently, they know B is clear, so is the call. They still seem to be wanting to go towards the A side. They have pretty much everyone here, and the B flanker coming through the connector. That's goodbye to Mazzino. Last man alive is Taz, and he will be found as well in the back lines. Almazer will confirm 5 here for forZe, and we did say, you know, you can get off to a slow start on the T side of train, but forZe have picked away at it, and they are definitely in control of this game at the minute. Even though the scoreline is not favoring them, I feel like everything is going their way currently. Momentum is there, and they could end this half at an 8-7, and that's actually perfect if you're on the T side.
Oh yeah, you're going to be over the moon if you get to 8-7, and certainly 8-6 looks like a probability at this point. Devils going to stick themselves over onto a presumably just pistol armor buy for the at best. Rollin might consider a scout coming out alongside the pistols to do that range damage, but it is a hard call to make, and the timeout, actually a terrorist timeout, so forZe really taking their time to think about what they want to do for this one. And again, you know, this is not the round you want to throw away if you're this T side. A great potential offering of 6 rounds on the board. Then you fight against a full buy for a 7th, which still puts you in a pretty solid spot. Ooh, Rollin takes it to AUG with the armor. I mean, I could see a scout, but the hero rifle, I guess desperate times call for desperate measures, right?
Yeah, this is definitely a desperate time, but ZPAR gonna find Manise early. Face crack dropping Marzinho, and this AUG has much more pressure on its shoulders than it started with. Pick up 2 kills just to get it back into a trade, but it's not gonna happen. Split will find Rallin. D-Hat is actually the only player something here on the A-bomb site. Real getting killed onto D-Hat again. It's Taz once more alone. And this time it's no easier than the previous attempts. He's got a P250 versus 3 players, and now they know exactly where he is. Almazer finishes him off. It's 8-6. And this is actually perfect from forZe. The comeback has been absolutely astounding, because you consider how dominated they were getting by devils.one at the start of this map, and then suddenly they find a way back into it. It just takes 1 round, Mitch, and they're straight back in.
Indeed, just the 1 round, and they decide, you know, you give them an inch, they take a mile. And this is the situation the Devils have found themselves in. Sitting over with a Deagle on Rollin, very limited utility, and the push already coming in from forZe, at least damage early on. As face crack goes down, the trades are there straight away. Deagle still super low. AWP puts Rollin down as well. Devils are not looking good in this round at all, being picked apart as the A push comes to fruition, and both remaining A defenders are also on low HP.
Well, there's a kill from Taz. Into the 3 versus 3. Almazer on 2 HP as well. It's probably the best chance you've seen Devils have in a little while. It'll be 9-6 if they're able to pick this up. And D-Hat is holding towards the ramp. Eventually will rotate over towards the connector. Is close by on B. And it looks like that's where forZe want to make their final stand here. The first half. Smoke goes in towards connector. That'll cover him off with it. Rallin's pushed all the way through mid, so he knows it's going to be the B hit. The info is there. Although D-Hat has picked up the kill. Can't quite get the second. Unluckily, unscopes at the wrong time. And now Rallin has it all to do. Coming in with the big flank. ZPAR and Almazer.
This defuse is going to be a one in a million opportunity, but the flank works out. Problem is he's no idea where Z-Power is. He's got to make a gamble. Drops the smoke on it, but he's not expecting the spools, and he's taken down for it. 8-7. forZe walk away with a pretty nice lead at this point, because although they're behind, on the T side, 7 rounds is absolutely perfect for them.
Yeah, it definitely is. There's actually a little small thing in there. Rallin tossed the decoy just to make the sound of the smoke, so hoping that they would peek into it, thinking he was trying to defuse. So that's a little something there that was quite nice to see. Just obviously doesn't work out for him, as ZPAR plays that last one perfectly. And it was a very quiet half from ZPAR, and we've seen him have a couple of quiet T sides across the tournament so far. And so ending the half on 3 kills isn't great. I think we've got to really look towards Almazer to thank for that massive performance, and the reason forZe are even at this position. Going into the second half though, it is the CT side. Train is probably one of the most op-centric maps within Counter-Strike, and ZPAR definitely wants to wield that AWP. So this is probably where we'll see his performance start to have an exponential rise, and in favor of that as well is probably going to be forZe's scoreline rising as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing him on the CT side. devils.one are going to have a challenge.
I feel like Moniz was definitely, like the last time these guys faced, Moniz was on the AWP doing a lot of damage in a lot of really pivotal rounds. But right there, he was very quiet. You know, we didn't see a lot from anybody on the AWP on the Devil side. So, with that in play, I mean, if your ops aren't showing up on the CT side, that's where you start to really get a little bit worried, because we've seen Z Power with some really nice and consistent performances regardless of the map, CT side AWP. And I doubt we'll see much of a variation here. So it's a scary prospect, really, for Devils at this point on the T side. They're angling towards the A bomb site. Utility going over already. The push towards Ivy is heard and spotted as they try to make some kills happen. Triple burst on the clock, not quite going to work out for Diaz. He gets taken down. Rollins soon follows, but the trades are there for the T side. Yeah. Into a 3 versus 3 with Z Power on low HP.
Bomb is getting planted. Marzinho put it on. Taz looking to try and get a couple of kills. Only gets the one as Jerry answers straight back. But it's a 2v2 as Jerry walks in, finds another headshot. It's all over. Jerry does it all. 3 kills. That's excellent stuff from him. That'll be the pistol pickup coming in from forZe Esports, and they will even the scoreline. It's 8 apiece, Mitch.
Indeed. 8-8. All tied up. forZe continuing to clock up these rounds in a consecutive manner. This has been a pretty astounding, I mean, wouldn't necessarily say a comeback. For all intents and purposes, well, they did pick up.
Call it a comeback.
Considering I don't think it was. They weren't really behind, right? Like they weren't in a terrible position. 7-2 down at one stage. That got a little bit worrying, but it was like, yeah, they still have a chance to make it a decent half. But then they just pulled off an insane scoreline on the 8-7. I feel like they've not only brought themselves into a decent position, but they've flown themselves miles ahead of where they should have been, and by just winning the pistol, they're equalized the far favored CT side here on Train.
Taz, Marzinho, they will get themselves 2 kills. Jerry able to find one back, but Marzinho will get another kill. This is looking much better for devils.one, but as soon as I say that, Flick comes in for a double kill. Manice will end him with the deagle, silences him. Now it's on face crack. He has to clutch this 1 versus 2. Otherwise, devils.one, and Aranda should have no right in winning, will walk away with success. Manice has slipped by. He's inside of Olaf. There's no way face crack expects this, and it doesn't even matter as Diha spots him. It will be the pickup for the for devils.one. That was close.
Yeah, a close one, but one going towards the T side nonetheless, and pulling ahead. Again, we've seen this a couple of times, that second round swinging over to the team that lost the first. Are they going to be able to follow up more? Well, you would assume so. forZe coming into this round with just a couple pistols in play. They do force up, but even still, things look a lot more favorable for Devils with the 3 AKs, a Galil, and a MAC-10 in play. Nade damage certainly comes into play as Maniz goes down low in main, but they don't quite connect as much as I think they needed to find favor in the round, as Taz, still with a MAC-10 in hand, is able to clock up a lot of money, a lot of kills, a heavy advantage for the T side. With only face crack left alive, the bomb to be planted as well. The economy gets even better for Devils, and if they can survive this with all 5 players, they're going to be happy, happy boys.
Just out of nowhere, a round like that can really give your team success. You know, they were having a very tough time of it, and then they suddenly find a round when they shouldn't have got really on paper, and this can turn their whole affair around as face crack into the 1 versus 4. They're running down just for one player with a 5-7. They all charge him, they find him, and it's double figures for the Poles. Looking much better for devils.one here, and perhaps a chance to try and extend their lead a little bit further, as forZe Esports don't exactly have the best of economic positions. So it will be most likely 11-8 before we see a buy from forZe. That's really warranted.
At least managing to gain the rounds in the T side early on. A bit of a confidence boost for Devils. We know to be a pretty comfortable team on this map, despite a early on bit of an awkward start for them, I suppose, or rather an awkward first half. They're starting to put themselves back into a decent position. The CT rotations towards the A-bomb site shouldn't see too much fruition. There's only a couple pistols in play and MAC-10 as well. Not something the Devils are going to be worried about. Roland and Mozino picking up 2. Bomb plank goes down. And what can forZe really do? You know, they've got a USP and a Deagle. The damage is done for the round. If they can find one more kill, things would shape up for them a little better, I suppose, just to force reinvestment in the next round. But that's all it is. It's kind of damage control at this point. The odds of seeing a victory are pretty much 0. They're not even going for it, so obviously not, but exits are the name of the game.
Speaking of odds, this is the GG.BET Invitational. We've got a little bit of odds to take a look at here. It's 2.24 for devils.one, 1.59 for forZe to take the series. This is the second map odds as well. So odds still favoring forZe in this map. So, the purchases come in for forZe. There's AWP in the hands of ZPot, UMP for Flit, and the AUGs for Facecrack, Almazer, and Jerry. I've kind of talked about this point quite often, actually. I feel like Train is definitely one of the most AWP-centric maps, but it's such a good map for the AUG meta as well. You know, there's so many different types of angles you can play that AUG in that make it so useful. And we see a lot of teams just straight away on the CT side adapt to the AUG meta, and we see probably 3 of them minimum get played on the CT side in the gun runs that they can afford them. Definitely a solid weapon to play in the on a map like Train.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty decent advantage, I suppose, that this AUG meta brings with it. Setting that over on the CT side of Devils, that the ability to take the AUGs into play alongside an AWP, certainly with all the long-range angles, looks pretty good for the counter-terrorists. And there's going to be plenty of long-range angles on offer as the push seems to be coming in over towards the B-bomb site. At least that's where devils.one are currently angling towards. Setting up outside, getting ready to drop their Molotovs and their smokes over to make this execute work. Flip, pops a smoke. He's going to get up close to that. Playing with just a UMP, he likes the close-range fights, but he might not get too much opportunity. The Z-Power, long range, lands 1. Flit still trying to be a messer in the back lines, destroying the plans of devils.one, and he lands just the 1 kill. It might be enough, though. It slows them down. The bomb plant is very difficult to gain with this player coming up behind you and harassing you. As Taz goes down, it's all onto Meniz and Diha. Meniz comes in with 2 somehow. Almazar in the rotation, finds himself in a 2v2. Trade goes down, but he still has to get over and take Meniz down. The AWP in play for this terrorist, but he's not going to be able to land the shot, sadly, as Almazar finds another. He's going to pick up that up and get that defuse in just in time. And so with 11-9 developing, Devils still have themselves a decent buy. They've built up a strong economy alongside that bomb plant. But the thing is here for forZe, their money isn't amazing. Even coming into this round, the buy itself will be weak, and if they lose this, then devils.one find themselves in a pretty strong position, in all honesty. That would be 12-9, probably 13-9 as forZe would take like pistol armor, maybe a scout alongside it to allow their money to really build up with the loss bonus. And at that point, I mean, Devils would be on 13. They'd be on the home stretch almost.
Well, forZe will invest everything possible into round number 21. It's a mixture of weapons, and again, Train is a good map for these mixtures of weapons. There's lots of different angles you can play, Mitch. You can get that XM in towards Pop Dog, there's close angles towards Ivy can be viable. And so yeah, we've talked at length about how the long range weapons are very good, but Train also has that dynamic where the short range weapons work well, and that is really, really interesting. A lot of maps in CS don't exactly have a good balance of both, but I feel like Train is definitely one of those maps that allows for a lot of the weapons to come into play and be useful as well.
Yeah, you can pick your poison, as we said earlier. You know, you got the auto shotty. One of the maps I prefer, though, is certainly going to be Inferno, to see that being deployed on. We won't see it in this series, maybe a little bit later on. Always a pleasure to see the auto being used, but As we come towards the A-bomb site, it's going to be the AWP that opens it up. You knew that from the start as Z-Power was holding down the angle, finds the second as well. Face Crack desperately trying to get something done. He's behind the smoke, waiting for his moment to strike with the auto. Kaz seems to be semi-aware of it, but shot in the back, he's going to be taken down. Bomb dropped as well. And low HP on the remaining terrorists. It's all over. Maniz with an AWP and 11 HP. Actually manages to make it out. But he's being hunted down by a relentless Face Crack. But after picking up an AK, he no longer wants to hunt. Just going to back off and allow that op to be saved. Money for Devils is not there. You know, they're going to have to make a difficult choice because Maniz won't be able to get a full buyout in the next round. So do they buy here? Well, sure, they've got 2 players that can buy, but then Taz is pretty low. Diha can't even afford an AK. So there's a lot of negatives for them right now. As to, you know, some signs are definitely pointing towards a buy, and some signs are pointing towards a save. Either way, it's going to be a weak buy whenever they go for it, unless Maniz is able to save an op over in this round as well, which is relatively unlikely.
I feel when it's a close game and we get into sort of the late round, or squeaky bum time as I like to call it, it's really down to which team is able to take the economy control late into the game, because if you end up having a close affair right up until the end and then you lose control of the economy, you very easily end up losing the game. So it's all about managing the economy towards these late stages. And while devils.one have gone for the purchase, they will invest in AK to Rowland and Marzinho, AWP for Maniz, Khalil for Diha, and Taz on the trusty sidearm of the Deagle. Definitely a weak purchase here from Devils in comparison to what forZe have brought to play with. It's going to be round number 22. A little bit scary for devils.one. For the early pick though, Mitch, over towards Ivy's Maniz.
Again, on the AWP, we expect to see quite a lot from Maniz here on Train. So far, he has started to pick up performance a little bit in the last couple of rounds.
Oh.
Diha won't be picking anything up this time as he falls to the ground. Taz would have been happy to be there. Trade out his Deagle for a big boy weapon.
He's going to be jumping, trying to bait the shots, but it's Maniz to finally strike into action. Up against the AWPer of the CT side, but Almirza will double up. Rowland falls as well. Marzinho gets the trade back. It's still a man advantage for forZe, but it's within touching distance. As soon as I say that, Almirza gets himself a triple. It's all onto Taz with the Deagle. Was the weakest gun going into the round for devils.one, and it will fall just like the rest. It's 11-11. Scoreline once again at a stalemate.
And at this point, I can't help but feel that forZe are the team that are benefiting the most from the scoreline being so close. Because Devils have that in the back of their mind. You know, they lost the previous series. They're only 1 away from a loss. So forZe being able to bring this so close certainly puts them in that mentality of, we're really close to closing this out, whereas Devils are really close to losing. And as they're pushed over to a pretty weak buy, they're only going to get closer. forZe almost assured, that was a close shot, almost assured to take the lead coming into this one. Only armor on Rollin, and you've got an MP9 in play on Jerry, so Pot Dog, certainly not the place you want to be going. And Devils, not thinking about it. They're going to be. Leaving 1 player outside Ivy, presumably that's going to be Maniz distracting a little bit. He hasn't got any utility, so he has to use his body to do so. 35 HP though. Oh no. Going down, Pop Dog. I didn't think Diha was going to drop, but as he did, he falls. Maniz goes down as well. No progress being made. No fake really to be sold. And, I'm surprised. I thought it was either going to be a fake with a fast B push or grouping up, but they play very individually, which not really how you want to play these pistol rounds.
No. Taz, Rowland, and Marzinho are going to go back together. But Almirza, with a shot ringing past his head, he's like, okay, time for me to do something. And he does something indeed. 2 kills coming through. Marzinho is all on his lonesome. You know, he might be a little bit scared here. I'd say a little bit of poops running out. But you know, Jerry will drop him. MP9 will finish him off. It's 12-11. devils.one will finally get the money to get a purchase in again. And this is starting to really become a scary scenario for them. They have to win this one if they want to keep this even.
Not only that, but if they lose this, it's probably the 14-11 scoreline developing, and then things get very scary. You know, they're not getting bomb plants down. More importantly, even, they're not doing that much damage to forZe. So even when they connect around at this point, they're easily going to see another full buy coming through for the CTs. And so the problem is, if they lose this one, then there's going to be another round where forZe can probably build up their economy even stronger, and they'll just get shut out at that point, have to constantly take on the full buys that have been so successful for forZe, not only just on this map, but certainly in the series so far. As Devils, again, I mean, early on lacking direction in that sense, but they're looking for direction. They're trying to find any openings, any aggression from forZe. That hasn't typically been the case. I think that although they've gone towards Ivy a couple of times, they tend to pick one point, get aggressive there early on, and stick with it. This time, it's T main, where FaceCrack's holding down. Devils, the clock's starting to run down. There's a minute left. Maybe they should start to consider grouping up and just hitting towards the bomb site. They're not really getting anything done by holding the angles alone, and Taz is already a little bit lit up. They're lucky to walk away with it without a man disadvantage to play with early on.
Yeah, there's limited time on this board now, Mitch, though, so they're going to have to eventually go for a play here, Devils. Rallin is towards main, but Flares picked up the early kill. Fist crack, aggression in towards main results in a kill. Deha will trade back, but it's still a man advantage for forZe due to the early pick from Flit. So Deha, Taz, and Marzinho have an impossible task ahead of them. Might not be impossible, but on the verge of impossible, as they're ready to run in towards B. It's going to be very difficult to say the least, and they run on in towards the site. They're going to have to check the spools. Flick comes in, Jerry lines one up, all on Marzinho, 1 versus 3, and the bomb at least is getting planted. That Molotov will confirm that. Eventually they will run through it. So it felt like a very long plant time, but Marzinho was trying to bait them to come towards him. Eventually it will be the same outcome. He will be dropped. It will be 13-11. forZe pushing to end the series.
Yeah, and they get away with a pretty good round here. Although they let the bomb plant go through, which should probably push Devils over to getting a full buy in this round. forZe again walk away with only 2 casualties alongside utility reinvestment. It still puts them at a net profit for the previous round. FaceCrack's the only player that won't be able to rebuy if they lose this. But of course, Z-Power would have the money to buy himself an AWP if they lose this round here. Flit or Almazar could drop over. 1 weapon, maybe even 2 to equalize the economy a little bit onto Jerry. So 13-11, it looks favored towards forZe. It is favored towards forZe, but considering the manner in which they've gotten here, it's even more favorable. So uphill battle, certainly the name of the game for Devils right now. Already a map behind in the series. The third map is a map they got stomped on when they played forZe last time. Again, it was Train and Mirage, close maps that swung either way, and then a 16-3 victory for forZe when they went to Dust. So in this series in general, it's hard to find a positive for Devils, especially as Maniz just gets slapped through that smoke.
Yeah, he's just spamming away and gives away the position, and Z-Power's like, right, if you're just going to shoot through a smoke, I'm going to do it as well. Straight through the smoke.
Tracers.
Yeah, big laser beam through the body. It will be a 3v5 though, as off camera, Rallin has been able to double up. A 4v3, make it a 3v3. Almazar has something to say about that, but Rallin comes in again. It's been the difference here for devils.one, but Deha on the late flank from Ivy is successful in picking up Jerry, and so it's now all on Flit into the 1v3. Got the first kill. Rallin looking to collect himself 4 overall in the round. Will do damage. Has to reload. Charging in, it's Marzinho that will assist him. 12-13. Scoreline definitely still close here, and Devils will still stand a chance. A pause has to come in for the CT side, as they are starting to get tested a little bit more here. Rallin has been a player that has just stepped up there. He's had a very quiet game in comparison to the first map where he was fragging. The second map has definitely been a quiet affair for him, and finally that might be a sign of life.
Yeah, we talked about Almazar and the impact he had in the first map. It's certainly carrying through here, more so with the AUG than the AWP on Train. But again, still equally as scary when you're facing them long range. Devils, look, they don't have a strong economy coming into this round, and we talked about forZe's position already. The fact that they're able to take a full buy, drop over weapons, you know, Flit and Almazar both dropping, allowing the rest of the players to buy up utility. The money to stay stacked on Z-Power just in case they want to take a force in the next round. A little bit loss bonus, or indeed the one after that. They'll at least be able to take the op at no problemos. So 13-12, things looking favored in the series. Things looking fantastic for forZe overall. With that lead, but Devils built up a little bit of momentum there, like you said. Rollins starting to get it, come alive, come awake a little bit more, and with an opening pick going their way, Almazar, who's consistently been the player to open things up for that CT side, he tries to go for the Ivy push, which he's been doing on and off for a couple of rounds. He's caught out this time; they're ready for him. So you're not getting away with that for a 5th time. And so it's a 5v4 Devils with lots of players towards Ivy, which is still a heavily held down position for forZe. Don't have to commit towards a bomb site just yet. One thing we saw from them, which was a bit of a problem, was that when they found advantages on Mirage a couple of times, they swung different ways. They'd spread out as a team or they'd spread out and try to take things individually, which was a problem. This time we're seeing them group up. They're certainly coagulating a little bit towards Ivy. Let's see if they can get the kills in the back of it, because it opens up for the CT side.
I like that word, Mitch. That's very good. That's a very good word. Sounds good. Definitely be a problem if you try to set quickly. Oh, speaking of quickly, it's Devils trying to run on towards the A bomb site. 30 seconds on the clock. They will eventually get that bomb planted. MVP looking down the barrel. It's Jerry picking up a fry. Gone to Taz. Marcinho gets one as well. And so it's all on Zepar. A 1v3 clutch to stop the scoreline from going 13 apiece. And he can hit the shot. A valiant attempt though. And Rallen will finish him away. This is starting to look much better from the Polish. Seem to have taken control in this late stage. And I said to Mitch not too long ago that the economy game is probably the most important asset for a team in these late stages of games. They have definitely lost control of the economy on the CT side. And the CT side is harder to get back. And we also, talking about Almazar being the big player, FaceCrack was consistently the top fragger across the 3 days we've seen forZe play. And he is 9 kills. That is not good at all for a player like FaceCrack.
Yeah, I think that's one thing Devils have been doing quite well, is shutting him down. Even when he's finding a kill, the trades go down instantly. And they're starting to certainly move a little bit more as a unit. Their spacing's getting better, and you can tell just as time's going on, they're taking this a lot more seriously. And realizing that they're not going to be able to walk away with a win in this one just off of the individual talent of the team. As we move into what is a pretty disadvantaged round for forZe with just pistols in play, a taser on Flit. It should be Devils walking away with an advantage of 14-13 before the full buy comes out for the CT side. With 2 in a row, full buy versus full buy rounds, Devils are going to be feeling very good.
This is not looking too solid for forZe. The likelihood of this one happening is pretty much 0. This crack can Flit into the 2-4. A moment of time before their heads will topple off their shoulders, and it's actually Taz who's having the most fun here up against the eco players. All the kills coming through, and Flit is alone.
Alone again.
Please don't sing me.
Is sitting in connected alone again.
We don't want to get a copyright strike.
Because I'm too much like the original.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Just like, no one can tell the difference.
Look, huge save from Flit. He carries forward a taser. That's gonna obviously he avoids giving over any free money to Devils. And keeps that death stat nice and low. That's obviously the primary purpose of saving. You don't want to make your stats look worse. KD is supreme. You don't have a 3 KD, you're not getting on my team. Only in Valve sponsored deathmatch though.
Valve sponsored deathmatch. I haven't played Valve's deathmatch in ages. So I don't really like it.
Because it's terrible.
It's actually terrible. Anyway, we'll get back on track. Diha has got himself Almazar. I like to put a little bit of an accent on that one. There's going to be Zepar find himself 2 kills towards Ivy. Diha and Maniz falling. It will be Taz, Rallen and Marcinho into the 3 versus 4. Still plenty of time on the clock, but you've got to thank Zepar for stepping up there. You know, the start comes in, Diha opens things up for the Poles. It's looking like they're going to continue that success, but Zepar right back at them with 2 very, very pivotal kills. Now that bomb is lying on the floor, and they've got to recover it. And he knows this, so he can just stay there.
Chilling and not killing. That's a yikes. Flit's out. He's out of here. Z-Power now has to be a lot more worried about everywhere around him, really, as he goes for peaks. There's no safe angle for him to hold anymore. Spots one out in team main. He knows they've not pushed out. He's going to get to the bomb site safely enough, and this is a more secure position. Face Crack just pops around the corner and takes Rollins' head off. Alrighty then. Z-Power watching the cross in CT. Smoke doesn't cover... I thought it didn't cover in time. It just about bloomed. Before Z-Power could land the shot. He's thinking about peeking. Okay. Backing off there, the right decision for sure.
Yeah, Taz starts to move over towards the side. The bomb will be planted in Summit. Oh, it is into a 3v2. Taz takes so much damage. He is dropped. Kill comes in from Marzinho, but he's fought by Face Crack. It's going to be 14-14. Mitch, this is going the distance. And for devils.one, again, this is their pick. They are a map down. If you're just tuning in, forZe are currently up 1-0. And we're on the map pick of devils.one, and they are struggling. forZe keep pushing back into this game. Devils find a way back through, and there you think they've done enough, and forZe still are here to play.
Well, you know what? I mean, we're going to see an overtime, 100%, because when you get to 15, you can't win the next round. It's the mantra, you know? They can't break that rule. So,
if my,
we just start the overtime already?
I'm going to name it Dinko's Theorem.
Dinko's Theorem.
Dinkthygerus through.
Oh my god, please don't say that. That sounds remarkably sexual for what it is.
Oh, you love a bit of maths, so Mitch.
I do. You can say that. It takes a madman to love it the way I do.
Math is not my strong suit, I'll have to admit, Mitch. I'm more into the whole arts and literature. Maths was just a bunch of numbers and not useless stuff that we use in life, but you know what they use in life? Kills. And D has found Face Crack, and this is looking pretty solid for the T side. Looking for another kill. It's Rowland picking it up. A Z-Par again making a difference, but Jerry's finished off. Taz comes in with a kill as well, and Flit is about to fall. This is about to be map point for Devils, and the money from the CT side is going to be gone.
That is, unless Flit has something insane to say about it, coming in to save on the B-bomb side. As you would expect in this situation. You don't want to see him going in for a hero play 1v4. No offense against Flit, but he's not going to win that. Nor would the majority of players. I think no matter who you are in this situation, you go for the save. So the bomb going to tick away, it's going to explode, and the AK carried forward, Face Crack will be able to get a full buy, but we're going to see very little for forZe. This could very easily be the map clocked up 16-14 for devils.one. That is if Flit's able to save this weapon. T's all around him, pushed in from the CT spawn. Rowland manages to catch him off. Too many angles to be wary of. And so 15-14. Is Dinko's theorem correct? That is the question. If so, devils.one will not be able to close this out. And now to put that theorem to test.
Yeah. We are going to see if it is true. I mean, everything lines up. You know, the stars align, the planets align. And if devils.one align, will be map number 3 coming up. And that will be Dust 2. And I've got to say, Mitch, I have to favor forZe going in Dust 2.
Yeah, I mean, you look at how they played last time. It was exactly what we've seen so far. A close series on Train, a close series on Mirage, and Dust 2 was all about forZe just stomping. Like, there was no sign of hope from Devils. They were quiet and asleep, and maybe this time they'll have changed, they'll have fixed their issues. One would hope so. They let it through the map pool, so they obviously don't believe it's a specific problem with the map. Instead, perhaps feeling that they just didn't play it too well last time. Let's see if it's the case. Let's see if we'll even find out.
Frozen?
Yes, it's back.
Okay.
We're good. Server issues.
Love it. But it is a back and forth. Initial kill tip for tat is Face Crack. Drops D-Hat, but Maniz is there with the trade. It'll be a 4v4. Straight away. And the server is having a little bit of problems. Hopefully it's not on the player's end. That would be very sad. There's going to be Flit finding Marzinho. Ah, yeah. I think might be on the server end. Rowland not expressing too much happiness. And, oh no. This is happening. Do we get a restart? I don't know if they restart.
I mean, damage was... Well, by the I don't know.
I don't know if they can restart this, but it's about to be overtime, Mitch. And my theorem, even though everything aligns up, the server sticks by me.
That's it. It's a CS:GO conspiracy. When you win the 15th round, Valve just won't let you win the next one.
They just press the like button. Just kill the server. Kill it. Quickly.
Gaben, someone's about to win the 16th round after winning the 15th. Like,
yeah.
No!
Overtime.
It's like an intense hacking moment from a movie. Just typing away at the keys. Just get the latency down.
Have you ever seen those BuzzFeed videos where they take a little look at a real hacker watches back like hacker scenes?
Yeah.
It's quite funny.
Yeah. But it's just always like, yeah, that's not what happens.
Yeah. Anyway, overtime is coming, and they're ready to play. There's no complaints. They want to get right into it. There was lag at both ends, right? So it wasn't just for the boys on Devils. The lag did happen for both sides, so everybody, it's still an even playing field. It's just forZe Sports are able to take the win, and will be overtime coming right up, and forZe want to keep pushing this. They don't even want to go to Dust 2, Mitch. You said, you know, when we talk about it, we see them as the favorites moving into Dust 2, but they don't even want to go there. They want to get it done here.
Absolutely, they do, and the OT provides them the opportunity to do that. I think knowing you're that close and then it being taken away by... I mean, you could put it to the server issue at the same time, though. Everybody experienced it at the same time.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a nice position for Devils. They're not going to be happy right now. Let's hope that they can keep things together and close this, because they want to see it Dust 2. And frankly, I want to see it Dust 2. The fact that they let it through the pool surprised me, considering the previous results against these guys. It tells me that they've looked back at that game, they've figured out what went wrong, and they know what forZe did to really exploit them. So I want to see how they deal with that. And indeed how forZe have developed over the last month to handle Dust 2. Presumably also having put in the work, because you know, right? If you have a close series on a map, the other team's going to look at the map and try to see if anything in particular went wrong. If you beat them 16-3, they're going to overanalyze the hell out of that map and figure out every single mistake they made. Because there's going to be a plethora of just footage of them doing things wrong in that position. So in that situation, I feel like it can be a really nice growing ground for teams when you just get stomped on a map. And then if you allow that map to go through against the same team, you've obviously put the work in.
Well, they're discussing that they are talking to an admin. The coach is talking to an admin. I'm assuming they're going to want to get it reset and replay that round, which obviously forZe would not want to happen whatsoever.
I love the Roland coach is talking with admin Z power for what? Like,
it's like, for what could it possibly be?
Did something go wrong? I don't
something I don't know about it.
You see, so my chat is disabled. I can only see it in the console, so I didn't notice if they called like for a restart or anything before.
I have it on because it's quite funny.
Damage. It can be quite funny.
Yeah, Roland did express his emotions, we'll say.
See, I don't think if saying I suppose I should say the K word that you've heard in matchmaking so many times. I'm not sure if that constitutes like restart the round.
Yeah, it basically means the same thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, maybe. Sometimes. I don't know. I don't know if yeah, we'll see what the admins decide on.
I guess
this could be a length pause.
The sort of example I give when I'm talking about server lag or whatever is that if you're playing a traditional sport like soccer, I'm gonna say for a wider audience, and football for the European audience, which is the correct word.
No, but okay.
When you're playing football and you're on a football pitch or whatever, and there's a hole in the pitch, or it's on a hill, if you're a professional player, you're not gonna want to play on that pitch, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna play on a perfectly trimmed pitch from a professional caretaker that has no holes. The grass is perfect. It even has some sponsors in the middle of it, giving you some money. But you definitely want to have a good condition to play on. You don't want to be playing on a muddy pitch with holes and it's on a hill. And I guess that's the same example you can give for the pro players. You want to have a perfect server that's running well, so you can play the best Counter-Strike and play your craft or your job, and you want to do it as best as you possibly can. And so I guess that's the reasoning behind why players can get so frustrated with server problems. It's only fair.
Well, yeah, and it makes sense as well, right? If you were playing on a normal pitch and it started raining, I mean, that's a pretty... It's a bit of a game changer. I'm thinking more specifically, there's a sport we have called Gaelic football, where you have to use it in your hand as well. And so obviously when it rains, the ball comes...
Like the brainchild of basketball, rugby, and football mixed together.
Pretty much, yeah. But so like when it rains, when we used to play, and it would rain and it's muddy, and then you're bouncing the ball off the floor and it's not bouncing because it's just landing in a pool of mud, and you're like, it causes a lot of problems. And I guess that's it. Like in CS, you can have a server, it's working fine, and then boom, it starts raining.
It starts raining.
Starts raining bit rates.
It's like packets. It's raining packets. They're lost.
It's raining packets. Yeah, they're just falling out of the sky.
I'm quite disappointed in myself for making that nerdy joke, but it needs to happen. Yeah, but also you can look at other sports like Formula 1 or whatever. You've got drivers who, if it rains, are better at sort of handling the wet, and so it gives them an advantage over some of the drivers who are perhaps in a faster car but aren't as skilled. And so there's definitely things you can look at in sports, but I think at Counter-Strike you generally just want to have a good server that runs well and there are no problems, because luckily that's one thing in esports we don't need to worry about is the weather. So
oh, well, not true.
Not true. Sometimes actually, yeah.
Sometimes power grids get messed up.
That is actually very true.
I mean, and it was so hot that it was a Maltese event, like a LAN, and it was so hot that everybody in the country had their air conditioning on, and that overloaded the power grid, and it just went down for like 4 hours.
Brilliant.
So,
well, it looks like we're not going to get a reset, Mitch. We're right back into the action. It's overtime, round number 1. I'm ready to get into this one. I hope you guys are as well. We'll splash a little bit of water in your face and get ready to get right back into this and wake up for the rest of this game.
I don't want any water splashed in my face, but I don't think any of these guys want bullets splashed in their face. That might not be... it might be unavoidable. Sadly, as a push towards the B-bomb site looks inevitable for Devils as they're stacking up there early on. Lots of utility ready to be used and indeed being lined up. However, perhaps looking inevitable was the wrong term of phrase to use. Although the execute is going down, certainly the utility is present. They are starting to make a rotation towards that A-bomb site. Problem was that Almazar was there. But he's just been taken out, so never mind.
Well, advantage siding with the Polish. They'll be wanting to prove that they are the true victors of this game, but Zepar will take away Taz. Whatever way this game ends, it'll have some controversy at this point. That is the kind of run that kind of just flips the entire game on its head. But 44 seconds remaining. It's still even here thanks to Zepar, who has been definitely stepping up on the CT side. Earlier he was struggling on that T side, but coming in on the CT side, he's been so impactful on getting those trades. Here comes the final push from devils.one in towards the A-bomb site. Zepar is looking for the kill, but they're not going towards him. Instead, they'll use the sandwich smoke to get close up and in towards the site. Flip will pick up with the AUG and catch up Manice, and it's not looking good here. Marzinho will pull it back. The T side are struggling. It's all on Diha, and he's got a 1v3 to fight. Fizzcrack is spotted, and he's looking for the kill. Jerry picked up. The time was so low, and Zepar to pick him up for 16 on the board.
Well, 16 to 15, forZe looking good. Picking up the first round, they're going to be feeling very confident now. Moving on to round number 2. They've got that double op setup, of course, Zepar and Almazar in play. And Almazar still locking down the top position on the server with 28 kills in his back pocket. Of course, he's been doing quite well. Just all in all, outside of even kills, you take a look at his ADR, up on 94, a consistent performance across the last 31 rounds, and into round number 32. Let's see if he can keep it up. It's a slow start for devils.one, angling towards a little bit of Ivy control. The bomb starts to move up to its teammates, which does indicate certainly the early round notion of hitting towards the A-bomb site. The Molotov slows them down in Ivy, though, and without gaining that early control, they decide they want to rotate back. And the bomb will then start to make its way towards upper. Still the possibility of an A hit, that's for sure. Down through Pop Dog, a favorite of a lot of teams, totem poling it down the hole, and taking down whoever may be holding there.
What is the meal totem the hole? I can't remember that. What it is?
Totem pole. It's a. It's like a. I don't want to say Native American, but I think it's a Native American Indian thing, where you like stack a bunch of heads. They're like, you know, wooden cylindrical carved heads on top of each other.
Well, I was actually talking about toad in the hole, which is a food.
Oh right, I've no idea. Well, what the hell is toad in the hole?
Someone has to know what I'm talking about. Someone in chat.
I've never heard of that in my life.
Yeah, it's not something we eat here, but anyway, there's going to be a push. It's Flit picking up Martinho, Rallad able to catch Flit as well, and it's into the 4v4 with 15 seconds left. They've left it late. Eventually, they will get onto the bomb site, and the bomb can get planted. This Crackle, Mazer, and Zepar having to come in with the clutch. A retake having to come in, and Manice is going to try and lock them out before they can even get anywhere near that site, and it will happen. It will be 16 apiece. Yet again, it is even. How many times has this happened this game?
Quite a lot. I just looked up Toad in the hole and it looks disgusting. Kill goes down, Z-Power not going to be saving the op, and of course you don't really expect him to with so much money in the back pocket for the OT. They don't really mind losing a weapon there because the full buy is inevitable for round number 3. Yeah, what the hell? It's a like Yorkshire pudding with sausage in it. That's
pretty
filthy.
It looks pretty like a disaster for your cholesterol.
Yeah, I would feel sad if I had to eat that. That's filthy.
Yeah. But
I'd much prefer to eat a totem pole, even though they're made out of wood.
Yeah, well, getting right into this, there's plenty of scopes for forZe. They have an AWP in the hands of Zepar and Almeza, the rest with Augs, and that's a great start. Flick coming in, and Zepar with the frag as well, and a much more proactive approach from the CT side. They do find a lot of damage here, putting devils.one in a scary position. They've got a 3 versus 5.
That one-round advantage can really work wonders for you if you can manage that in the first half of OT. It certainly sets the possibility of a victory well within your grasp. 2 men left alive on the T side. Roland manages to at least take down Face Crack, and things look a little bit better as Taz knows there's a player towards connector, sees that nade going out. Flit gets one rather, but he's going to be taken down by Taz eventually, who only has to play the time. He should know he's up against an AWP with Z-Power being the last player alive. And he's playing the long game. He's making Z-Power come to him. Problem is, he's just spotted out that he's towards connecting with that flashbang going down. The Molotov will stop the heat from coming through, but the Molly returned. Taz has stopped the defuse from going in, and I don't think there's even any time. He legs. Taz doesn't even find the kill. The defuse going down. Taz has to peek. He has to peek. No. And he gets... Oh my god.
That was right on the... Yeah, milliseconds left on the defuse, and they come in and eventually win it. Oh, Taz so close, and Zepar's going to be kicking himself. devils.one will end a half ahead, but that could have very easily went in favor of the CTs. The pressure that this game is building is incredible, and you've got to look at both teams. They're just playing out of their minds right now. Both of them playing very consistently. Back and forth, they're going at it very hard, and at this point, it's almost... it'd almost be a disappointment if we didn't go to a third map.
Well, that's it. Like I said, I really want to see what Devils have done to rework their dust, that they allowed it through the pool against a team that has faced them once on dust and absolutely demolished them there. Considering a close series on the other 2 maps, it was really surprising to see dust be so one-sided a month ago when these 2 teams played. And if you weren't with us earlier, it was 16-14 on Train and Mirage, which has already been played out here. And as you can see, they've both been pretty close maps. If we do go to a third, that's where it was decided last time in this exact same series with the same map pool. Like I said, 16-3-4 is that time. And there's Z-Power taking Diha out.
Yeah, that he was struggling on the T side earlier in this game. And so that's a great sign of life. Straight away, finding that early pick for forZe Esports.
Like a man advantage early on the T side is certainly a God's gift. Starting out the OT. forZe, considering the previous round that was played out, aren't going to be feeling too happy. They want the revenge. They're hungry for it. They need to find 3 rounds in a row if they're to win here in overtime. So Devils certainly have a nice buffer. They'll be able to, of course, have 3 full buys with the 16k overtime. Unless they decide to take like 5 ops out in the next round. But with that, I mean, the probability of winning one round is certainly well within their grasp. And to be honest, I think statistically, you'd probably favor them to take this, starting it out, just having claimed 2 rounds on their T side. You would favor them to take the map overall then in the OT. Push towards PopDog is delayed by a flashbang onto the T's from themselves, but Mauzino is eventually taken down into a 5v3. Z-Power, not having to get anything done with the AWP here as Maniz gets taken down. The op battle only remaining from Roland.
Well, Face Crack does pick up Rallin, but Taz is coming in. The last man alive. Time is low, but it doesn't matter. Flip will take the head off Taz, and he nearly makes that competitive. He actually nearly wins that, but obviously with the headshot coming through, that will confirm victory. It is 17-17. forZe Esports looked very dominant in that previous round. They'll want to continue that for sure. And neither of these teams are only 2 rounds away from winning. This is where things get interesting, Mitch. Will we go to overtime number 2? Will they split rounds, or will one team walk away with 2 in a row here?
Well, that's it. 2 in a row is a possibility for either team at this point. The way forZe have been playing, you can certainly see them walking away with that on their T side. But Devils on the CT side have the advantage at their back. And they've been able to pull things off when we don't expect it from them. And indeed, starting things off with the double op setup once more. Diha and Maniz this time, trying to make the work happen. The setup, in a pretty standard setup, I mean, the weight of the world is on forZe's shoulders at the moment to try and get things working. You can see Z-Power starting to relocate rather, over towards Ivy. The bomb making its way up there as well, so in a couple moments, Roland could be in a little bit of trouble if he was peeking that, considering the fact that he only has an AUG in hand. It is unlikely that he goes for the re-peek towards Ivy, and certainly the situation. Playing a passive, which allows forZe, once they spot it, nobody's peeking it, to just slowly creep on up there, assuring that it is going to be an A hit, despite what utility might go down on B in just a moment with Jerry still sitting there with 2 flashbangs in hand. He actually just starts the rotation. Never mind. They're not going to throw any utility on B. Just fully commit to this A hit. 2 down PopDog, and already an opening kill towards Ivy.
Well, yeah, Flit, that is the man. He's the key that opens the door on towards the A bomb site. As they keep charging on in, it's looking good for Jerry, who's in from behind. That's a great kill. Molotov goes in, and now Devils, they're going to have to back away from this. They have got money left in the reserves that they still want to attempt to retake, but it's highly unlikely they find anything. As the bomb is planted, there's the kill from Z-Power. Goodbye, Diha. And now Devils have to win 1 and bring them to a second overtime. Otherwise, forZe, they are going to walk away with the series 2-0. And that would be an incredible storyline from them, especially, you know, looking a little bit shaky at the start of train and then pulling it right back.
Oh, Diha on the AWP's been spotted. Okay. I don't know why he jumped up a second time. Guess maybe didn't realize that he was there. Didn't quite register with him. Oh, there was a body there, right?
Yeah, I think we seen it because of the X-ray. It highlighted it slightly more. I think it would have been harder to see from his perspective without the X-ray, and so we'll give it to Z-Power. All right, we'll let him off the hook for that one, Mitch. He's playing like a nutter. Had a very slow first half, and is still trying to pull it back. He's had still not even near the top, but he has done a lot of had a lot of impact, we'll say, with that AWP, finding openings and picks coming through. And now this map points. They look to try and take the series 2-0. devils.one want to go to second overtime, and a collateral comes in for Z-Power. That's exactly what they need here for us to start things off straight away with a 2-man advantage.
Devils on a major back foot here. 1 map behind and 2 men behind in this round. They have to win it. Roland picks up the AWP. A formidable player with it, rotating towards the B bomb site. Sadly, nobody's looking to come there. Everybody on the terrorist side is stacked up for an A hit. And it'll be coming in within just a couple of moments. The defender is Mauzino, now with an AUG in hand, and he's even rotating towards the B bomb site. All 3 players stacked here. They're making a big play. They're hoping that it works out. forZe were angling towards A, but you can see the bomb starting to relocate as well, gravitating towards that B bomb site. They're just above PopDog now. Still a lot of options on their plate. They can go for an A hit, but considering that they're all here, it's unlikely that they all come through PopDog. This could be B and running right into a stacked up CT side.
But yeah, that would be exactly the way that Devils want this to go. This could still go to second overtime, even after a two-man advantage being picked off immediately. forZe looking to go in towards the B-bomb site. Devils have made the right call. They sit here with 3 players. There's the first kill. Great opening from FaZe. The second comes in onto Taz. Rallied into a 1v4. It's starting to really fall apart. It is ending 19-17. What a performance that was from forZe in overtime. And definitely this match will be shrouded in a lot of controversy. You know, there's that lag definitely is going to be a talking point moving forward.
Yeah, you may bet we'll hear a lot about that in the future, but all we can say is that forZe have claimed the series 2-0 with a fantastic performance. I think Almazar definitely the standout player on that team throughout both maps. The level of consistency he brought, I think, certainly outweighed the some of the flashier plays we perhaps saw coming through from Z-Power, who we generally suspect to be that more consistent. I'm not saying he had a bad performance, but it was just a staggering one for Almazar. Doesn't usually have the best at times. I mean, certainly the last time these guys faced off, he was Train was one of his worst maps. I think he was like 16 kills on the board by the end of it. And so all in all, look, great game from forZe. They've certainly upped their game, and I'm quite sad we didn't get to see a Dust 2 come out.
No, this third map would have been very interesting to watch indeed, to see these guys rematch on that Dust 2. But that is it from this series. But it's not over yet. We've got another best of 3 coming up after the break. It's going to be just as exciting. We've got Heroic taking on Sprout, and that should be a bloodbath. We're going to come back after the break with that best of 3, so I'll see you guys then.
CSBet.GG guarantees to show the actual drop rate with precision to the hundreds. Find the best skins only in cases at CSBet.GG.
Cool, right? Want to know where I got it? Well, look, go to CS.money. It's a trade platform and a marketplace at the same time. Just choose, click, and get. Good luck, bro.